It recently became possible for sheep wool farms to run without a player nearby, but to do this we have to overcome some challenges. Hello there, Ray here, and to make a wool farm we need a sheep, but to keep the sheep from running away, let's go ahead and box it in with some blocks. And now to turn it into a wool farm, we just need to use shears on the sheep, and this will remove the wool and drop it as an item, but now we have a sheep that has no wool, and if we use the shears on it again, we don't get any more out of it. But if the sheep eats the grass underneath of it, it will convert it into a dirt block and it will replenish its wool, so that we can once again use the shears on it to get more. But we don't want to be manually shearing the sheep, so we can automate this by putting in a dispenser that is facing towards the sheep, and then placing in our shears inside of it, and now every time we power this, it will automatically remove any wool on the sheep in front. But now we have the problem that there is a dirt block there, which means that there's no grass, which means the sheep won't be able to eat it, which means we won't be able to get the sheep to replenish the wool so we can get more of it. Now luckily if you have grass blocks nearby, they can actually spread and replenish the grass that is on the bare spot. Now in the past, the grass would only do the spreading if there was a player nearby, but now it can do it in any loaded chunks, meaning that this farm can run 24/7 without even having players online. But does having more grass blocks nearby allow it to spread faster? Well, a single grass block can spread to any of these blocks here if these happen to be a dirt block. So we can see that this one now converted from dirt into grass from this one way up here. And the spreading of grass comes from the block that has grass on it already, which means the more blocks of grass we have, the faster they are likely to put grass onto the dirt block. As the game will randomly choose 3 blocks inside this cubed area here that's 16 by 16 by 16, and will give them a random tick, and if it's a grass block it will check this big rectangle area and then randomly choose 4 blocks within this to convert from dirt to grass. Okay, don't forget to leave a like on the video. So to help out our dirt block as much as possible, we can have a grass block that is up here, and it can go down 2 blocks and over 1 in order to convert the dirt into grass. But we can also have a grass block here, 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 and here, and even there, and all of these will actually help the dirt block. Now having another row of grass blocks here is not going to work, since the blocks above them will kill the grass. So the next best thing we can do is place it with a 1 block gap, so we can have grass all around here and all around the entire sheep. These grass can also help the dirt block down below. We can't replace this block because this is where our dispenser is in order to automate it. And moving our dispenser up here will only kill any grass that we have underneath of it, as it is a solid block. But we can also skip a space and place in another row of grass way down here, as grass can not only come down 3 blocks in order to convert dirt, but it can also go up a single block, so this would be the lowest layer which we can have it, and we can go all the way around. We can't place it there because I'll die, but we can place it in like this, and this is the maximum amount of grass in order to make it fast as possible for this dirt to turn back into a grass block. And by using math, we can calculate how fast it takes for the grass to convert. So with our 22 grass around the single dirt block, after 10 seconds, there's a 25% chance it will have converted. And after 35 seconds, there's almost a 100% chance it has converted. But now we have the problem that we still need to manually flip this lever in order to have the shears shear the sheep. We can automate this process, since every time the grass turns into dirt or turns into grass, it will create an update. So now whenever the sheep eats the grass, it will put wool on, but the grass block turning into dirt will also create an update that the observer will send the power around to the dispenser, and will automatically shear the new wool on the sheep. And when the dirt block converts back into a grass block, it will try to shear the sheep again, but it won't waste any of the shear's durability, as the sheep hasn't eaten the grass yet. And then the whole process repeats itself. But now we have the problem that the wool items are just getting stuck here on top of the block. Now we cannot simply just have a hopper underneath, as a hopper will only pick up items that are 1 meter above it, and these items are slightly higher. But we can use a hopper minecart, as hopper minecarts can pick up items a bit higher. Now everything's working well, except now we only have 1 color of wool, and there is a total of 16 different colors. So if we want all the different colors, that means we need to have 16 colored sheep to start with. That way we don't have to waste dye in order to re-dye them each time. So by having the next dirt block right here and the sheep on top of that one, they can share these grass blocks in order to replenish them. And just like this design over here, we can continue by placing in more grass blocks here, also grass blocks around the sheep like this, all the way around, as well as on this lower layer right here. Now just like this side, we also need to come in with some redstone, detecting when it actually gets ate, and then bringing the power back up around with a dispenser with a shears inside of it as well. And just like the other one, we don't want the items to get stuck on the ledges here, so we're going to come in and place in some blocks on all these edges. Subscribe for more educational Minecraft videos. We can also make the farm more efficient by having it use the same hopper minecart to go over both of the different sheep farms. So we can extend the rail system down here so that it can roll underneath of both of them. Now getting this farm to hold all 16 Cuther sheep is actually quite easy to do. First, to find a relatively flat area that has grass blocks, and then press F3 plus G to pull up the chunk borders, and then start on one end of the chunk, and we're going to count and remove blocks that are 26 blocks long. Then we're going to turn and go this direction, and then we're going to take it the same distance all the way back. This way the farm's only hanging over top of two different chunks, meaning it's easier to keep loaded all the time. And if you want the farm to be loaded all the time without you being beside it, you can load it using either nether pearl chunk loaders or by using ender pearl chunk loaders. And I explain how to do that in these two videos, which I'll put down below. Or you could just build this inside of spawn chunks where it will always be loaded as long as the game is running. Now we'll start with the collection area by placing a block here, and then we're going to place in rails. Now from this end here, we're going to come in with a normal rail, then power, then we're going to do normals this full length here, put a power rail right there, and we're going to do normals going back this direction, and then at the very end we're going to put in another power rail. And at this end here, we're going to come in with a container where we will store all the wool. We'll have a hopper pointing into there, and then we're going to have a solid block with a power rail over here, and then we're going to have a lever to power this on. And this is the on and off switch if you want to stop the hopper minecart from moving. Now if you want to, we can automate this a bit more by having it read the signal that is coming out of this hopper over here. This is done by using a comparator, and it's going to put a signal into another block, which is going to then move it up to this block here. And then from here, we're going to point it back into the rail. That way we don't need it powered on all the time. And the hopper minecart will automatically stop when there is items that needs to unload. And this way it's a little bit more efficient at unloading. And only when all the items are gone will it automatically power it and send it on its way. Now we're going to come in with a lever and power it to power those rails, as well as one right here to power that one. Now we're going to place in the dirt for the grass to grow on for the sheep to eat. We're going to skip a block, place dirt, then we're going to skip a total of 3 blocks, place in dirt, skip 1, place in, skip 3, place 1, 1, then 3, 1, then 3, and it should end up looking like this. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. So now when there's these gaps in between the grass, we're going to come in and place observers facing away from the grass. This means they are actually reading the changes that occur to the block that is behind them, and it's pushing the power that is in front of them. Now we're going to give the grass at this layer plenty of light by coming in and placing it in a torch on each of these pairs here, always in this corner right here, with the last one right on this corner here. Now in between the observers, we're going to place in a block of your choice, as long as it is a solid one, and on the side of it, this is where we're going to put the lever. When the lever is flicked downwards, this means the farm is turned off. And each of these cells are going to have their own on and off switch, so you can determine what colors you want to have harvest and which ones you are already full on. Now on top of each of these blocks that the observers are pointing into, we're going to come in with some redstone dust. Now around each of these dirt blocks, we're going to come in with more dirt blocks, so that we're going to have a full circle around each of them where they're going to share a side. And then when it comes to these, they're going to get circled around them as well, but they're going to share on a couple sides. And the grass in each of these holes here will eventually spread and convert the dirt over here into grass. Now on the two sides where the redstone is pointing into, we're going to place in dispensers facing towards each of their holes. So 2 there. And then we're also going to have 2 dispensers facing here. And we're going to do this exact same thing to each of the 4 pieces. Now we're going to come in and resupply the shears with some hoppers. We'll have 1 hopper pointing into one of the dispensers, and then the other dispenser will get 2 hoppers pointing into it on this side here. So these 2 hoppers are facing opposite directions. And we'll do this for each of the dispensers, where one will get pointed in and the other one will come around on the side. And we'll do this to all of them. Now we're going to block off the other 3 sides with leaves. Alternatively, you can use glass if you want to be able to see them through there easily. This will just prevent the sheep from getting out. And we're going to do this on all of these. Now starting on one side, we're going to place torches in between each of these dispensers, skipping every other one. And then when we get to the end here, we're going to place an extra one right there, so that it looks like this. Now go out and get a sheep with a lead and bring it into a pen and start breeding these sheep together, so you get a whole bunch of them. And then one by one pull the sheep up here so that they are on top of the farm. And then you just want to push them into each of these holes. And once you have them all filled up, go ahead and use dye to color every color of the rainbow. Now between the two dispensers, we're going to place in a barrel, and then we're going to have a hopper on this side pointing into it. Then we're going to repeat this for each of these. So it will look like this. Now we're going to come in and place in a 3x3 of dirt around each of these sheep. But if you want to be able to watch them, you can come in and place in some glass blocks, so that will look like this. Now place in 3 power rails, and then we're going to have normal rails on either side that go the full length with another 3 power rails, and then with all the power ones, we're going to come in with some levers and go ahead and power them up. Now we're going to place down some torches for the top brass so it has enough light so that it can actually spread. Now we can put in more shear storage by placing in some containers here and then filling it up with all the extra shears. Now we just power these rails here and we push the minecart, and it will get enough power to go all the way around the entire thing. And every time it comes underneath of this chest here, it'll pick up some more shears before unloading them in all the hoppers, keeping all the dispensers full so you will continuously produce more wool. So even with a simple cheap farm that's easy to build up like this one, it produces over 840 wool per hour. There's 35 more playerless farms that can be built in your Minecraft world. You can check them all out with this video here. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!